Hey, it's Sri here. In today's video, I'm going to talk you through 4 behaviors that are destined to destroy any relationship or marriage and ones that you want to make sure that you avoid at all costs. Before we dive in, I just want to let you know that I'm opening up a few free spots for my masterclass training, which walks you through the 3 steps that my client Sarah used to be able to save her marriage. You're going to absolutely love it. So make sure you stick around to the very end and I'll give you all the details on how you can get access to that free training. Now make sure you click the subscribe button below so that every Sundays and Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you'll receive access to all my new videos where I walk you through details on how you can go about saving your marriage, how you can improve your communication, and how you can become the best version of yourself as well. Now, if you haven't met me before, my name's Sri Rajasekar and I help women all over the world to be able to save their marriages, but to be able to reclaim their self-worth and self-confidence. Because inevitably when people are going through challenges in their relationships or marriages, it does have a massive impact on their sense of self. And I want to help you to be able to reclaim that part of yourself. Now, naturally, when people are going through challenges in a relationship or marriage, emotions are heightened. And when you're in a heightened emotional state, you're going to act in ways that aren't necessarily going to be for the greatest good of the marriage. You know, when we're in a fearful state, when we're in that survival mode, we end up saying things, doing things, acting in ways that aren't necessarily for the greatest good of all concerned, which means that we have to be quite calculated and very centered as we make certain decisions. Because I know in my life that whenever I've been in really, really heightened emotional states, especially negative states, I've generally made some pretty poor decisions. And so this is all about making sure that we make the best decisions for our future. Now, whether that's you're on the receiving end of infidelity, or whether you guys have just started to get into some really bad habits where you're not really connecting much. One person immediately goes into the couch as soon as they get home, or one person's always doing all the cooking and the cleaning and the other person's just being quite lazy. Whatever those challenges that you're facing with, I understand how tough it is. But in today's video, I want to talk you through 4 behaviors that you want to make sure that you avoid at all costs, because they are guaranteed to destroy your relationship or marriage. Now, the first behavior is to never threaten the relationship. Now, what do I mean by that? It means that regardless of whatever behavior either of you are engaging in, you want to make sure that you never use a threat as a way to try and get that other person to change. You see, they're making those decisions to do those things because either their needs aren't being met, or they're in a bit of a negative state themselves. So if you end up trying to threaten the relationship by saying, oh, listen, if you don't carry this on, I'm going to walk away, or I'm not sure if I see a future for us, or anything like that, that's going to force him to get on the defensive as well. There's another problem that results when we try and threaten our partner. Men tend to take things very literally, whereas women, on the other hand, tend to be quite indirect in terms of how they communicate. So they might say, listen, I'm not sure if this is going to work out. But what they're actually saying to their husband or partner is that try harder. Show me that you care. Show me that you're prepared to work for me. Show me that you're really in it for the long haul. But all he's hearing is, oh my goodness, she wants to leave. And so that's why it's very important here that you don't put any threats onto him, because that's how he's going to take it. And then he's going to get into a fearful state. And suddenly you've got these different intentions which aren't necessarily going to be for the greatest good of the relationship or marriage. So never threaten the relationship is the first behavior you want to make sure that you avoid at all costs. Secondly, never compare your relationship to others. Now, one of the things I do see a lot is that some women will go out there and be quite critical towards their husbands. Now, I can understand why. And there might be certain behaviors that have resulted them kind of forcing them to be in that place where they have had to be critical because the husband hasn't stepped up. He hasn't delivered at the level that he needs to. But you've got to remember that there's always 2 sides to the story. And in his eyes, he thinks he is stepping up. In her eyes, he's not. And because he's not stepping up at the level that he needs to, and that there might be other couples out there that, the husband's going out there and buying fancy phones for them and giving them lots of love and lots of attention and taking them on wonderful holidays and all that stuff. When that's continuously reinforced in a man's mind, he's going to be feeling completely inadequate and completely inferior. That's going to emasculate him. And when he's in a place where he feels emasculate, he's not going to want to step up for you. And once again, this is guaranteed to destroy a relationship or marriage. And even if it doesn't mean there's any sort of divorce or separation, it is for sure going to make him feel emasculated over a long period of time, and there's going to be a loss of passion, there's going to be a loss of connection, and that's not going to be fun for either of you. So you really want to make sure that you avoid the comparisons, because naturally comparisons will result in a man feeling inadequate. Just quickly in the comment section below, what are some of the challenges that your husband faces when it comes to your behavior in your relationship or marriage? Just write your answers below and I'll go through and respond to them. Thirdly, don't correct your spouse all the time. Now you might find that your husband's going to say a couple of things and that in your eyes, it's going to seem like it's all wrong. It's going to be completely incorrect. And it may very well be. But you want to make sure that instead of correcting him, get to understand his world a little bit more. Get to understand where he's coming from. And phrases such as, oh, could you just explain that a little bit more to me, please? Sorry, I don't quite understand. Could you elaborate on that further? Just a couple of statements like that can be really, really beneficial in getting to learn your husband's perspective on the current situation. And by getting to know that, you then get to understand and see what's going on in his mind. You know, it doesn't matter what situation we're faced with in life. We've all had moments at work or, you know, with our friends, etc., where, you know, the other person seems adamant that they are right. And the most important thing that we can engage in here is to ask ourselves, am I coming from a place of love or am I coming from a place of fear? Which is to say, do I want to be right or do I want to actually be in love? This need to be right destroys so many relationships. And that's why they're constantly correcting each other. One person says something, the other person corrects it. That person says something, the other person corrects it. And the more we get into a place where we're constantly being corrected, then we feel criticized, we feel frustrated, we feel annoyed at the other person, and we become very resentful of that person as well. So you want to make sure that you prevent correcting your partner or husband too much, and that you actually just get to understand his point of view a little bit more. Now, the fourth behavior that you want to avoid at all costs is to rest on your laurels. Now, what happens is when people get married and have kids, then they're naturally going to put a lot of their time and energy into their kids, into work, into making money so that they can survive. But the problem is if you're putting all your time and energy into those things may grow, but the connection between the two of you is often forgotten. And as I've said before in many videos, is that everything in nature either grows or it dies. So if we aren't putting the time and the energy into the relationship or marriage, that is going to decline. There's no doubt about it. So you want to make sure that in the long run, that you remember that your relationship or marriage, that's the thing that is the most important. You know, there was a beautiful scene from the old American Pie reunion movie where Jim's dad actually talks about never ever forget to be husband and wife, even when you become a mother and father. And it's so important to remember that. We have to make sure that we've got to stay spouses and we stay continuing to grow that particular relationship or marriage, because that's what's going to allow it to really develop. That's what's going to allow your connection to grow even stronger. And then over time, your bond is just going to build and build and build. And no matter what, what's even more important is that when you and your partner have a growing relationship, what happens is your children are going to see that as their role model for love. And they're going to have such a beautiful time when they grow up. Very important to make sure that you don't rest on your laurels, that you continue to feed the relationship so that it grows and gets better and creates even more passion and love and light and all that good stuff, you know, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. Really want to make sure you put that time and energy into it. I always want to make sure that those of you watching these videos are constantly upskilling yourself so that you can create the most extraordinary marriage that you possibly can. So for that reason, I've opened up some spots to my free masterclass training, which walks you through the 3 steps that my client Sarah used to be able to save her marriage in less than 60 days. You'll absolutely love it. So all you need to do is in the description section below, you will see a link to register for this masterclass. Just click on that link, choose a time that works best for you, and then just show up fully. Make sure you write plenty of notes, because that's going to ensure that you take advantage of all of the learnings that you gain from the training. And make sure you stick around to the very end, because I'm going to give away a free gift to you that I know you're going to really, really love. And secondly, below is a link to my free private Facebook group where you can connect with me and other amazing souls so that you can improve the quality of your relationship. And in the group, you're going to meet a lot of people in there who have created extraordinary success in their marriage. So make sure you click on that link. I'll give you access to it, and you can start to get all of the latest material on how you can improve the quality of your marriage. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've liked it, make sure you hit the like button below. If you want to get more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you want to learn the 4 steps that you can take to save your marriage from the brink of divorce, make sure you click this link above. And if you want to make sure you save your marriage by bettering yourself first, make sure you click this video above. Thanks so much, and I'll talk to you in the next video.